Tuesday, tomorrow, the Senate plans to vote on their version of President Obama's economic stimulus plan, and Mr. Obama faces some heavy criticism, heavy opposition, Capitol Hill, and now he's hitting the road, campaign style, to try to sell this stimulus plan to the American people. CNN Deputy Political Director Paul Steinhauser up early with us this morning to discuss what's ahead. Good morning, Paul. Happy Monday.
Happy. Not as early for us as it is for Karina. I guess it's maybe late for Karina, not early.
You
right?
know, I do wonder whether or not she had the opportunity to go to bed, considering the
Probably
Grammys
not.
did go so late. You were up early this morning. Hope you got a good night's rest over the weekend. It's a busy day for Barack Obama, busy day for senators. They actually had to work in a rare Saturday session on Saturday. And of course, going back today, possibly a vote as early as tomorrow. And meantime, we have the president out traveling the country trying to promote the stimulus. Who is he really trying to connect with?
Two things. He's trying to connect with the American people, but of course he's also trying to connect with those lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Let's start with that, with the bill, because as you mentioned, the Senate did work on Saturday, which, you know what, I'm not crying for them, okay? Maybe it's good. A lot of us work on the weekends too. So, and the plan right now is for the Senate's version of the bill to be passed or to be voted on. There may be an early vote indicating vote tonight and then the final vote in the Senate tomorrow. And then comes the tough part, Melissa. The Senate and the House have to kind of come together, because even though the price tags are only a few billion apart, the House is $819 billion, the Senate's a couple billion more. And what's a couple billion among friends? They are different bills. The Senate bill has more tax cuts and less government spending, and just the opposite for the House. So they have to come together and come in a conference committee and hammer out one bill, and then hopefully vote on that by the end of the week and get it to the president, because remember, he wants it on his desk and ready to sign by President's Day. Melissa, that is 1 week from today.
You know, of course, we're talking about the two bills coalescing, that from the Senate, that from the House. But at the same time, you don't have that merger, you don't have that similarity in sentiment from the Republicans and the Democrats. We have just three Republicans right now, Ms. Collins, Ms. Snow, and Arlen Specter. Why are the Republicans not more on board at this point?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons here. Maybe, first of all, the Republicans are maybe trying to get back to their roots, which is the party of less government, the party of less government spending and less taxes. So here's a perfect opportunity for the Republicans, who really, you know, listen, let's be honest, they got spanked pretty bad in that November election. This is their chance for the remaining Republicans in Congress to get back to their roots. And that's why they're opposing this bill. They say, A, it's too much government spending. B, it really isn't a jobs program. It's more of a spending bill. And C, it's just too darn expensive and it's not needed. And it won't work. It's a gamble here, of course, because while they're trying to get back to their roots as the party of less government, you know, they need to be on the side of the American people. Right now, a lot of Americans are screaming out for aid and help because they're without jobs. So this is a risky move by the Republicans. Will it work or won't work? I guess we're gonna have to see if the actual stimulus, after it passes, whether it works or not. We really won't know for about a year, and then you've got the elections in next November, and that'll be the final indicator of whether this was a smart move or not in the midterm elections. But you're right. Remember, no House Republicans voted for this bill, for the stimulus in the House. And as you mentioned, only 3 moderate Republicans are on board. But that's all the Democrats need right now. Remember, they have 58 votes in the Senate. 3 gets them over the filibuster-proof majority of 60.
And again, the president wants us on his desk, as you mentioned, a week from today, President's Day, so he can sign this legislation. When will the American public start to be able to reap the rewards?
Well, some parts of the bill almost immediately. There's some spending in the bill that really goes out pretty quickly. I think depending on which bill finally comes to pass, you know, they say that up to 60% or 70% of the stimulus bill would take effect or would be spent in the first 2 years, so by the end of next year. So, you know, it's not going to happen immediately, but the hope is that by the end of this year into next year, Americans are going to start feeling things getting better and seeing a turnaround in the economy. But, you know, unfortunately, what economists say is that the numbers could get worse this year. Unemployment will go up. The housing market may not get any better anytime soon. So it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. So this is, and as you saw pictures there, Barack Obama, President Obama today on the road.
Over the weekend, we heard a lot from Senator Collins of Maine talking about the stimulus. We also heard a lot from Michael Steele, the new head of the Republican National Committee, the RNC. He had his response to the president's radio address over the weekend. He has been aggressive in taking on his leadership role at the RNC, but now I understand there's a study going on, a past financial decision related to his sister's company. Can you explain?
Yeah, this goes back to 2006 when Michael Steele, Lieutenant Governor of Maryland at the time, ran for the U.S. Senate against Democrat Ben Cardin. It was an election that was pretty close, but he lost it eventually to Congressman Cardin. And the thought here was, what is new is a Washington Post article in just the last couple of days talking about Michael Steele's former campaign finance chairman from that campaign in 2006. That person, who is right now dealing with a federal fraud case, he's saying that Michael Steele paid money to his sister's company, which didn't really exist, and the money was never spent on the campaign. It was basically that Michael Steele was giving the money to his sister, even though there was no work in return. Michael Steele, of course, saying that is not true whatsoever. And how can you believe this man? Because this man right now is fighting for his to stay out of jail, as he's in a federal fraud case. So it'll be interesting to see what prosecutors say, because they're going to need to speak out here and say either A, yes, we are looking into Michael Steele, or B, no, not at all. Michael Steele is totally exonerated. But, you know, Michael Steele just taking over at the head of the Republican Party as their chairman, and this is probably not the thing he wanted to deal with right off the bat.
I can't imagine that he would. Paul Steinhaus, our Deputy Political Director out of Washington. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Programming note as well, as we've been discussing, you can watch President Obama's first primetime news conference online and on television. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We hope you watch it here on CNN.com/live.